Hello watch lovers! In this video I'll be showing you some watches that you might not have seen before. I've got 10 hidden gems from some brilliant under the radar watchmakers. So let's begin and let's just go in alphabetical order, shall we? This is Valérarch from Seoul, South Korea. Now there's some fantastic stuff coming out of South Korea. I love their music, their swoon-worthy TV shows, and they're an IT powerhouse, but we don't see much from them when it comes to watches. So it's incredibly exciting to see this, the Serenity from Valérarch. So designed in South Korea, but manufactured at the highest standard in Switzerland. So that's why you see both Seoul and Swiss made on the dial. So the Serenity is 39mm across, and the case shape takes its design cues from various inspiration sources, like the body shape of an Aston Martin DB12 and the arches found in classical Gothic architecture. The sunbrush dial is a grey-plated dark rhodium, while the hands, applied logo and chamfered indices are plated with white rhodium for a brilliant contrast. The movement is the caliber 3301, it's a Solita base, but it's received an exceptionally high level makeover, with beveling, snailing and perlage finishing on the bridges and base plate. And the rotor weight and mainspring barrel have both been skeletonized, so there's some amazing artistry and attention to detail on display throughout this watch. Beautiful and elegant, this is a steel sport stunner for $3,300 on a steel strap or $2,860 on a leather or rubber strap. And these look like they're getting snapped up, so keep an eye out for the next order window. But this is awesome. These guys look like they're operating on another level of coolness. And I'm very excited by this. And I can't wait to see what they do next. And I can't wait for someone to give me $3,000 so I can buy one for myself. Anyway, next we have Aerowatch, who have been crafting watches since 1910. So only Tenzies kids will know about this watch. Aerowatch are an independent family-owned watch company with a workshop nestled in the Swiss mountains, the Jura Arc, otherwise known as the cradle of Swiss watchmaking. And that's where they design and assemble contemporary and stylish timepieces like this, Sport Automatic from the Milan collection. So, 41mm steel case with an integrated bracelet that features a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces with really crisp lines and edges, and there's a notched bezel around the dial, and the dial itself features an exquisite guilloche texture in a fir needle pattern, and there's also a fir tree motif on the second hand. Looks really refined in the various darker dial colours, but looks especially cool in the ice blue. There's a self-winding Solita inside that's been nicely decorated, and you get glow-in-the-dark superluminova on the hands and markers, plus 120 meters of water resistance. €1,770, sporty, elegant and very awesome. That's the Sport Automatic from Aerowatch. And next we have Alkin Watches, another indie watch company, this time from Bristol in England, focusing on form, function and quality. This is the Model 3 Dual Time. It's a tool watch with 12-hour dual time bezel for telling the time in a second time zone. It comes in 3 dial variations, yellow, powder blue and brushed copper. And there's a really nice depth to the dial as well, thanks to the height of the applied markers and the recess of the circular cutout in the centre there. The markers and hands are rounded, which feel quite soft, while the dial colours feel very bold and playful. And then you combine that with the utilitarian case in brushed steel, and you get quite a unique blend of design choices that work together really well. The case is steel with a 40.5 diameter, sapphire crystal over the dial, a Miyota 9039 automatic movement inside and 200 meters of water resistance, and a steel bracelet with 6-stop micro adjustment buckle, all for £425. So that was Alkin, and next we have Arken. This is an independently funded startup with watches designed in the UK and movements from Japan, and this is their Alterum watch. Featuring a bold case shape with sweeping lines, scratch resistant and a satin finish. Inside is another modified Miyota movement, the Arc 9015DT, with its 12-hour GMT hand function. The dial has a frosted texture and features 2 AM/PM indicators for the GMT. The left window is for local time and the right one for home time. So you can always remember lefty local, righty residential. Residential as in home time. So you get a sub-dial date display, which is a bit novel, and a chunky crown and screw locker pusher. The angular sword hands sit nicely alongside the teardrop quarter-hour markers, and it's a very bold and contemporary-looking timekeeper overall. Would pair nicely with a grey suit and a fast car, I reckon. and that is £599. Now we have Boken, and Boken is the Japanese word for adventure, but this isn't a Japanese watchmaker, it's again another British independent. That's 3 in a row now. And this is the Nomad from Boken, and it comes with a barrel-shaped case of brushed titanium. The bezel is ceramic, and the dial features polished indices with superluminova, and you get a Solita automatic movement, the SW200 as well, and 300 meters of water resistance. These adventure watches come in a variety of exciting colours and straps, and the straps are all sold individually as well and feature quick release systems so you can easily mix it up for cool new looks on the fly. One of these watches will cost you £895, and for each watch sold they donate £50 to Ocean Protection and Preservation Organisation Just One Ocean, which is awesome. So you get a cool watch and you lower your eco-anxiety at the same time, so double win. Next, this is Bremoir. Now that's a name that evokes that classy combination of memoirs and brie, but more accurately, it's a watch brand heavily inspired by the Art Deco stylings of the 20s and 30s. Things like the Chrysler Building and the interiors of New York speakeasies, so that's the vibe, and it's plain to see it on this, the Lexington. This is a watch with very distinctive Art Deco design cues. You get a stepped bezel that climbs upwards like a skyscraper, hour and minute markers that resemble the doorways and decorative metal spires of the Chrysler Building, and the sector dial layout embiggens the overall look with a chapter ring in either brushed steel or brushed copper. There's a variety of colour options. It's 39mm in a steel case, brushed on top with polished edges. You get a sapphire crystal, 50 meters of water resistance, and inside is the Swiss STP 111 automatic movement. Assembled and tested in the good old US of A, the Bremoir Lexington will cost you £790. Now let's look at the Canopy Watch Company and the Wake One watch. Crafted from the ground up and designed in the good old US of A. Sourcing the finest materials, this is a watch that's built to last and of a very high quality for a micro brand. So the watch has that vintage tool watch aesthetic that we all love so dear, and it blends the designs of a pilot's and a dive watch together. So you get a 39mm diameter case, quite simple, no crown guards, but meticulously finished. 316L stainless steel with brushed and polished details, a double domed sapphire glass over the black textured dial, bold white hands and applied indices, and the running second hand has a red arrow tip for the pop. You get a date window at 6 and 200 meters of water resistance. The bezel gets a forged carbon fiber insert, as does the crown, for that sweet fibrous carbon texture look, and it just gives that watch that little extra something something, you know what I mean? There's an exhibition sapphire case on the back to view the modified Swiss Solita movement, which has a cool black textured rotor weight. And this is a limited edition offering, so each watch is individually serialised and comes with a matching numbered aluminium card. There's the steel version and a midnight variation, which is steel but with a black DLC coating, and there's only 250 of each, but there is still some available, and some good edition numbers too, like 30 or 68. This is an incredibly cool watch, and it costs £481. Next, we're talking about Jack Mason, a watch brand based in Texas in the good old US of A. And this watch, with its iconic appearance, is the Strat-o-timer GMT. Designed, assembled and tested in their studio in Dallas, the Strat-o-timer is one of Jack Mason's best-selling watches, and it's easy to see why. Coming in at a wearable 40mm in diameter on a Jubilee-style bracelet with an on-the-fly micro-adjust buckle, you get the ever-so-tasty duotone bezel, 48 clicks in sapphire glass, and comes in 3 flavours: Americana, Espresso and Dark Night. Inside is a Miyota caliber 9705 for the true GMT with jumping hour for all you travel timing travellers, blocky hour markers and hour and minute hands, and you get a lollipop second hand and a broad arrow GMT hand, all loom filled for the nighttime glow. Really cool watch, $800 for that classic GMT look, and that is hard to beat. Now, moving away from Dallas, Texas, just slightly, just catty corner, over to Japan. Now, this is Minase and the Horizon watch. So paying homage to the Horizon line viewable from the coasts of the island of Japan, this is a watch inspired by the ocean, calm and peaceful, yet strong and powerful. As you can see, the Horizon watch is rectangular, but it has a curved profile and the dial and sapphire crystal are domed. So the central rotation point of the hands is at a higher level than the corners of the glass, and thusly the hands are delicately bent at the tip, accentuating the domedness. The watch features a unique case-in-case structure inspired by Japanese 3D puzzles, where the movement is housed in a floating inner box. The case is polished using the Saratsu technique that we all love so dear. That's the fine finishing process which results in a high mirror finish. And then inside you get an ETA-based caliber which also receives a number of high-end finishes, polished bevels and bridges, perlage, blue screws, you name it, lubrication-free bearings, the works. This watch and all its exquisite Japanese craftsmanship will cost you 6,000 Swiss francs. And now finally we have Phoibos. Phoibos coming straight out of Hong Kong via Japan and Switzerland, where they source their movements, and then harking back to ancient Greek mythology where they get their name, Phoibos, the Greek name for Apollo, the god of the sun. And they're all about dive watches, and this is the Wavemaster GMT. It's an automatic diver's watch, 39.5mm steel case, with a nice blockular bracelet which tapers towards the clasp. You get a 24-click bi-directional bezel in glossy black ceramic, and the dial comes in a range of exciting colours, all featuring a cool wave pattern and an orange GMT hand for reading the time in a separate time zone, like Atlantis, because that's where you'll be going with this watch, with its 200 metres of water resistance. But the coolest thing for me is the embossed octopus logo on the case back. Ooh, that logo is dope as hot fudge. And if this video gets 1 million views, I'm going to get that tattooed on my face. And I'll even invoke the sacred law of no backsies. So there you go. Some really striking details, awesome looking watch, and it costs 399 euros. So that's it. 10 amazing watches that you might not know about. And for more amazing watches that you probably do know about, why don't you head over to watchfinder.com to find your next pre-owned luxury watch. And I'll catch you next time. All right then.